Good evening, one and all. CNM extends a warm welcome to the esteemed members of the management, principal, vice principal, teachers, parents, and students. Before we embark on today's program, I, Sanvi Chowgule,
And I, Rishil Goradia,
your hosts for today, welcome each and every one of you to this special event, TEDx Youth at CNMS.
a gentle reminder to everyone assembled here to put their phones on silent mode to avoid disturbance. Eating and drinking in the auditorium is prohibited. Kindly refrain from moving about in the auditorium during the course of the event. A 5-minute break will be provided for the audience wherein you can enjoy refreshments outside the auditorium.
To make this evening a blessed one, let us invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha, the god of knowledge and wisdom, by kindling the lamp to guide us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge. Asatoma Sadgamaya,
Lead me from ignorance to truth.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Lead me from darkness to light. We are honored to invite members of the management, our principal, Mrs. Kavita Sangvi, our vice principal, Mrs. Aditi Vazandar, our ISC coordinator, Mrs. Ashwini Puntambekar, Alka ma'am and Asha ma'am, to kindle the flame of enlightenment and officially inaugurate the event. As the lamp is lit, may its radiance touch each one of you, kindling in you the immortal flame of knowledge and understanding.
Thank you, ma'am. TEDx is a platform that empowers visionaries to showcase their groundbreaking ideas, thought provoking concepts, and creative opinions. TEDx stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design, wherein the X stands for an independently organized TED event. The theme of TEDx Youth at CNMS is Bridge the Gap, which means connecting people through diverse thinking. This event focuses on the youth.
Dance, in its purest form, is a language that transcends words. It is a way to communicate with the universe and experience oneness with the divine. The students of CNM School present to you a prayer dance themed Sri Ramashtak to celebrate the timeless virtues of Lord Rama.
भजुमन हरण भव भय दारुणं नव कंजलोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम्
भगवान के अवतार का केवल नहीं गुणगान है, कैसे नारायण बने नर इसका पावन ज्ञान है। सिया राम 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 सिया राम।
श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजुमन हरण भव भय दारुणं नव कंजलोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम्
भगवान के अवतार का केवल नहीं गुणगान है, कैसे नारायण बने नर इसका पावन ज्ञान है। सिया राम 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 सिया राम।
आदर्श और मर्यादा की है ये कथा महापावनम काटे मद श्री से मिला दे श्रीमद् रामायणम श्रीमद् रामायणम श्रीमद् रामायणम।
सिया राम 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 सिया
संदेश आज खुशियों के हमारे नाम आए हैं बजाओ ढोल स्वागत में मेरे घर राम आए हैं मेरी चौखट पे चल के आज चारों धाम आए हैं बजाओ ढोल स्वागत में मेरे घर राम आए हैं।
This energetic performance was indeed a connection between the soul and the infinite. Let's give it up for these graceful and vibrant dancers.
We now invite our principal, Mrs. Kavita Sangvi, to come on stage and enlighten the audience with her words of wisdom.
Thank you so much. On behalf of our President Shamrish Patel, Joint President Shubhapesh Patel, and School Mentor Ms. Neha Parekh, I invite you all. It's something very, very important that we need to show you right now because the theme is Bridge the Gap. Now, this is a recent OECD result which speaks about the PISA result of 2022. And you can see out there that Singapore ranks the highest, followed by China, followed by Japan and all the countries. And see the one at the bottom, that is Cambodia, Guatemala. Now look at another thing now. When you look into the results, academic performance, Singapore is 10 out of 10. But look at the psychological well-being, the agency and engagement, the resilience of the students, the engagement with the school, the social relationships, school-leisure balance, so low. Material and cultural well-being and openness to diversity. Now that's also very important because that is the hidden curriculum. If you look at United States, the academic performance is much less than Singapore, but the psychological well-being is much more. The agency and engagement is very, very high. The engagement with the school is even more high. If you look at Peru, the academic performance is quite low, but look at all the other parameters. It's very, very high compared to Singapore. So what does it tell us? That if you're not academically well inclined, are you very good in other things? Well, let's look at Denmark. Now, Denmark speaks about the academic performance also being very, very high, and also the psychological well-being, agency and engagement, the resilience of the students, engagement with school, social relationships, school-leisure balance, all this is very, very high. So what is it that they are doing that makes sure that students have a proper holistic development? Well, this is very important. When we want to empower our students for all of this, are our students asking questions? Most important, please ensure that the students are asking questions. Are they considering everyone's perspective? Is there cognitive activation? Is there a why happening? Are they arriving with different solutions for a problem? It's not just one simple method, but are they having a lot of diverse thinking and coming up with a solution? Are they connecting the new and past learning? Because anything new that is taught should be connected to the past to make connections. Further, are we asking the students how they are arriving at solutions? Because we want to know, how did you get this? How are you getting it around? Why are you thinking? Why are you thinking this way? Finally, are they participating in group discussions? Because collaboration is very, very important. If we do all of this, we all can be where Denmark is. And finally, very, very important is to know that it's also very important to empower our teachers for this, because joyful teachers are the ones who inspire joyful students. So it's a class dynamics are very, very important, where the teacher is also completely engaged with the students. So for that, I really request all of you all to introspect and take back the learnings from the OECD back to your classrooms. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. That was truly insightful. Without further ado, Rishil, let's give the audience a rundown of TEDx rules.
The speakers must keep in mind certain rules, which are as follows. Each speaker needs to speak for 10 to 12 minutes. Avoid political, pseudoscience, religious, or commercial talks presented from the TEDx stage.
We are proud to welcome a teacher from the very own faculty of CNM School as the first speaker of the day. We have Ms. Rachna Verma, who will be speaking on finding beauty in imperfection, embracing self-esteem in a flawed world. Ms. Rachna Verma is a compassionate, hardworking, and student-minded educator with 15 years experience in teaching English and social sciences from grades 3 to 6. She holds a master's degree in political science. With extensive experience as an educator, she has taught at prestigious institutions such as CNM School and ND Parekh Pre-Primary School, MP Shah English High School, Government Law College, and Utpal Sanghvi School. She has received the Best Performer of the Year award at CNM School, which recognizes her dedication and excellence in teaching. She has also won the first prize in an inter-school poetry writing competition, highlighting her creativity and passion for the written word. Throughout her career, she has been passionate about supporting students in their educational journey and helping them achieve their full potential. The stage is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you. First, I would like to show my gratitude to the school management and our respected principal for giving this opportunity to be the part of this TEDx event. I'm really honored. Now, let's begin with a question. Do you experience bad hair days? Yes, even I often do. You see, I have a lot of curls. In fact, whenever I try to have that perfect hair look, I always get revolt from these curls. So what do? I end up accepting the situation. We all have those imperfect days in our lives. Whether it's a pimple on our face on a very special occasion, or we spill coffee on our shirt just before an important meeting. Whether we miss a few dance steps on stage, or the best one, we become Ranveer Singh of a party. The key point is, unintentionally, we all turn those perfect moments into not so perfect. So, what should we do about it? Should we hide in a corner because of our imperfections? Let's talk about it. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachna Verma, and today I want to unravel the idea of finding beauty in imperfection and embracing self-esteem in a flawed world. Let me share an experience with you. Some 14 years back, I got an opportunity to teach political science in a prestigious law college. I was very happy. I thoroughly prepared myself to face those second-year law students. I went to the college, greeted the staff, and they showed me the way towards the classroom. I was very confident and ready to break new grounds. I entered the classroom and greeted the students. Then, like a perfect teacher, I decided to break the ice. I started conversing with them. Everything was going fine until one student asked me where I was teaching previously. Actually, I had only 1 year of teaching experience in a school. So I simply replied, I was teaching in a school. It took only fraction of a second to turn the tide. Some of the students exchanged looks, some of them smirked, and some simply ignored me, throwing expressions at me that I was not perfect to be their lecturer. Imagine how I felt at that time. My confidence was shattered, and I was completely lost. So, instead of breaking the ice, I decided to take a break and move out of the classroom. And I thank Mr. Martin Cooper, the inventor of mobile phone, because I was able to make an excuse of an important phone call. I went out, all nervous. My hands were shivering, and I was melting like an ice cube. There's a Canadian poet and singer, Leonard Cohen, who had once quoted, "There's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. This light helps you to grow stronger and more resilient." For me, the light was in being an educator. I thought to myself, so what if I was a school teacher? At that time, that moment, I was their teacher. I gathered up my courage and told myself, Rachna, let's crack it. And I entered the classroom again with confidence. After that day, I successfully completed 2 years of teaching as a political science lecturer in that law college. Where do you think I got that confidence from? It was only possible because I did not let their idea of imperfection taking a on me. We all try to be perfect, whether it's for a party, for an interview, or speaking in front of an audience. And believe me, I tried really hard to be perfect today, to that extent that my family started to call me crazy. But you know how I felt in this process? Frazzled and less perfect. You know why? Because imperfection, in fact, is beautiful. Have you heard about Wabi Sabi? Yes, that means you have read Ikigai. Wabi Sabi is a Japanese philosophy which finds beauty in impermanence and imperfection. Wabi refers to the beauty found in natural state, and Sabi relates to the acceptance of aging and flaws. One of the best examples of Wabi Sabi is kintsugi. Kintsugi is a Japanese art of repairing something broken with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, they highlight them. Wabi Sabi tells us that our flaws do not diminish our value, they enhance it. Basically, Wabi Sabi is saying, hey, that chipped coffee cup, it's not broken, it's vintage. Wabi Sabi encourages us to accept ourselves as we are, flawed, aging, and imperfect. Imperfections are inevitable, and perfection is overrated. I have read somewhere, no one is perfect, except maybe a cat. Cats fall off the furniture and act as if it was totally part of their. And even if it is not, they don't care. I can see certain smiles here. That means you agree with me, right? Cats, they get up gracefully and walk away as if no one is watching them. We all wish to have that level of confidence. Since we are talking about the level of confidence in spite of having imperfections, we cannot forget one of the most iconic characters of the 20th century. Let's see if you can guess. Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Yes, perfect. Phoebe Buffay, one of the most iconic characters of the 20th century sitcom Friends. Phoebe, whether it's her quirky songs or her bizarre belief, Phoebe is unapologetically herself. From talking to her grandmother's soul to joking like a crazy person, Phoebe is a shining example of how embracing your self-esteem can be way more fun. But then that's a TV character. What about the real life, the real world, where people are chasing perfection as if it's an award they just can't wait to win? Believe me, perfection is a myth, and imperfection makes you stand out. Embracing your imperfection fosters authenticity. It gives you character. The world has many imperfectly perfect people who did not just shape their lives but became a force of motivation for the millions of people. Let's know about a few of them, and allow me to start with my favorite K-pop band, BTS. BTS member Suga had once told ARMY, "You were born to be real, not perfect." So true. BTS never had an easy path. They faced skepticism, financial struggle, and harsh criticism. But they proved that even if you start with some awkward dance movements, you still can be the global superstars. They did not try to be perfect. They embraced the journey. Imagine, you are at the top of the world and still having bad days. For example, Jin slipped on stage while dancing, and Jungkook forgot his steps while in permission to dance concert. Turns out, even the biggest superstars are not so perfect. Let's take another example. Kapil Sharma. Yes, who doesn't know this man? Kapil Sharma was never embarrassed of not being fluent in English. In spite of having language barrier, he accepted his flaws gracefully and confidently. He even invited Jackie Chan and Ed Sheeran on his shows. The last, but not the least, we all know Stephen Hawking, a theoretical physicist who worked on the physics of black holes. His IQ was 160. Despite having physical challenges, the spark to learn and grow never ended in him. Just as the individuals are imperfect, the world is full of flaws. And remember, even if everything fails, no one is judging you as harshly as you are. And as rightly said by Kim Namjoon, even if you are not perfect, you are limited edition. So what if you are not perfectly dressed for a party? Let your imperfection make you stand out. Embrace your self esteem. Be a cat, be confident, and be extraordinary you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I am sure that has got the audience thinking and inspired. We are truly imperfectly perfect, aren't we? Let's give it up for Miss Rachna Verma.
I would like to introduce the next speaker of the day, Mr. Keegan Menezes, who shall speak on the future of food, influence of trends and technologies on the way we eat. Mr. Keegan Menezes is a second-year student at Flame University, Pune, pursuing a major in business analytics and a minor in advertising and branding. He is a five-time national champion in Kudo and the first Indian male to win a silver medal at the Kudo World Cup. Mr. Keegan Menezes is also an accomplished event organizer and host. During the COVID-19 lockdown, he launched a YouTube channel, podcast, and website, spreading his motivational message: believe in yourself, because if you don't, no one ever will. A budding author, Mr. Keegan is currently working on his first book. With a passion for public speaking, debating, and event management, he is dedicated to helping others believe in themselves and succeed. Let's have Mr. Keegan Menezes on stage.
Thank you, thank you. Imagine this. It's the night before a big competition. You're an athlete and on the crossroads of victory and defeat. What's on your plate tonight could very well decide what happens tomorrow. That is the power of food. Now, imagine this on a global scale. It's the year 2050. 10 billion people are sitting down to eat dinner. Our food choices today about what we eat could very well decide if that future thrives or struggles. Hello everyone, I'm Keegan Menezes, an ex-CNMite, martial artist, and a self-proclaimed foodie. Now growing up, I was the kid who always ran away from dry fruits and vegetables, quite to the dismay of my mom and my dad. Now, taking you back to where it all started for me. I was the kid who was less of the karate kid and more of the kid who wondered what he was doing here. My early days in the dojo, rough. I was the kid who went in there, looked around at all of the sweating and grunting, and wondered, what am I doing over here? My grandmother would often joke around with my parents and tell them they were paying to get me beaten up. Back then, I was also going through all the usual stuff, like wondering about what my direction in life was and just feeling confused. If you would have told me back then that I would have been standing here in front of all of you as a world champion and as a TEDx youth speaker, I would have definitely laughed in your face. As an athlete, I learned something really important. The importance of perseverance and the mindset of never giving up. Whether it was before my black belt exam or it was before any of my tournaments, I entered with the will to win. It was never I am going to win. It was always I have won this. That's something that has carried me throughout. And credit goes to my mom, from a very young age taught me the importance of affirmations. Now tell me, what food do you eat to stay fit and healthy? And how do you know if this food is wholesome food? Okay, for me, it all comes down to the basics and fundamentals. Let's explain this with an example. How many of you in this crowd have used AI tools like ChatGPT? Put your hands up if you have. Awesome, quite a crowd there. So if you've used AI tools, you would know that to get a good quality output, you need to put in a good quality input. Your body works in the exact same way. If you want to get good health and better work performance, you need to put good, healthy food in. Now, I'm not here to preach to you what you should eat, what you should do, what is right, what is wrong. I'm a university going student. I'm not an authority or an expert in this space. However, I will tell you things I have learned and experienced as an athlete and as someone who's trying to stay fit and eat healthy. I remember it was before a tournament of mine where I was trying to lose weight to get into my weight category. It was the most surreal experience of my life. Why? I was following a very strict diet of very high protein, low carbs, low fats, a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables, and I was practicing in the gym for 2 hours every single day. Yes, it was a symbiotic relationship between my exercise and my diet. One would not work without the other. Even at the gym, I was not focusing only on weights, as most people do. I was focusing on my cardio and on my core workout too. Another very important thing for us is hydration. As people, we stress ourselves out too much. We need 8 to 12 glasses of water daily just to stay fit and eat healthy. Today, everyone is exposed to the internet. Now, while this is also a good thing in a way because people have started becoming more health conscious. I mean, obviously, if you keep seeing fit-looking people on your screen all day long, you might want to look like them, won't you? But there's also a downside to this. There are some people who take things into their own hands and take it too far. I have seen people who have started skipping meals, popping pills and having medicines, thinking that this will help them, lose weight. But this is not only dangerous for their body, but also for their health. People need to realize there is no shortcut to success. You need to go through the grind of working out and following that diet if you want to be healthy and fit. The best example for this for me would be through my experience at Tiger Muay Thai, which is a training center in Thailand for athletes who come from all around the world to come to train before different competitions. Over there, I was given 3 balanced meals per day. Now the food there was amazing. When I say amazing, I mean it was very energizing and refreshing. Back at home, after I have food, I want to take a nice nap and go to sleep. But there, I was raring to get back into that ring. The food was high in protein and low in fats. And sweet potatoes, a powerhouse of nutrition, was served to us almost every single day over there in the form of air-fried chips, mashed potatoes, and even in salads. Salads there were non-negotiable. Now, tell me, how many of you have checked on the internet and searched good, fit, diet to stay fit and healthy and have tried to follow it, but later you found out it probably wasn't the best decision? The world out there is heavily influenced by the thousands of gym bros and protein companies, all of them telling us what we should eat and consume and put into our body. Now, this is quite frustrating and also a little bit scary in a way, and very contrasting to the fact that this is not healthy, good food. Now, you would wonder, what is healthy food, right? These protein companies may always give you big promises that, have a product and you will be completely fit. But that's not the case. These companies care less about your health and more about their profits. As long as they are making money off you, they are happy. The next thing I want to move to is myths. There are a lot of myths over there about vegetarian food not having enough protein as compared to non-vegetarian food which has meat. This is a very big misconception because vegetarian food too has a lot of sources of protein like lentils, pulses, nuts, and soy products. Now, confession, as a kid, I was that kid who said a meal without meat was like going to a movie and having no popcorn. For me, it did not make sense. I could not understand it. But I did my research and I realized that you don't need to necessarily rely on meat for your protein. I mean, think about it. Plants are the main primary source of protein, even for the animals that we end up consuming. If there's one takeaway for me from this, it's that we often fall for all of this food propaganda out there telling us what is right to eat, what is wrong, and what you should and should not. For me, I think everyone's intake should be directly influenced and in line of what their goal is and what they want to achieve in life. Not based off what the latest Instagram trend is telling us is healthy food. Also, don't worry, I'm not telling anyone to go vegetarian. I myself am a hardcore non-vegetarian. I can barely go 2 days without it. Back at Flame University, where I'm currently studying, forget meat. Even eggs are not allowed on campus. Initially, while joining, I was a little skeptical and worried as to if this will, pull me back in my performance. But no, I was able to keep winning medals. I was able to keep my energy up and even stay awake through my business classes. I mean, what else could you expect? Turns out vegetarian food too could keep me going, which broke that bias in my mind against it. But the small choices that we make on a daily basis have a compounding effect on our performance. For me, I know the difference between entering a tournament after having a balanced meal versus after having junk food. Honestly, I will tell you this. Do not enter a tournament or any competition after having junk food like burgers or fries. It does not turn out well. You feel very heavy and quite bloated. Now, I'm sure each one of you in this audience has heard this one phrase somewhere or the other. Anything in excess is bad. And very rightly said. Anything in excess is really bad, especially when it comes to protein and meat in your diet. You need to have a balanced diet. Now, I'm sure everyone out there is built different, has different needs, so I'll just talk about myself. I like a lot of protein, less carbs, less carbs and less fat, more amount of fiber, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables in my diet. Health is a conscious decision we make every single day. My coaches and my parents drilled one lesson into me as a kid, and it was that your health is your wealth. My mom often says this in all of her talks. What are you going to do with all the wealth in the world if you don't have the health to enjoy it? And very true. Food isn't just some fuel. It's your way to unlock your best potential and be your best self. Now, let's step back for a moment and zoom out. What is the future of food? Lab-grown meat, plant-based protein, algae-based snacks. No, I'm not making up stuff from some science fiction. This is a reality if we intend to feed a growing population sustainably. But as we innovate, we should not forget to rely on the basics. The focus should always be on real, wholesome, and healthy food. Now, I've learned that food is much, much bigger than just the calories you see on these food apps. It's about choices. Choices each one of us make on a daily basis. Because these choices affect our body, our mind, and our future. Whether you're training for a championship or you just want to ace that next exam, what you eat matters. And now let's look at the big picture. On an individual level, what you eat shapes who you become. But on a societal level, the food systems we live shape the world we leave behind. In an ever-evolving world, let your food be your foundation and let your choices be your superpowers so that every bite today will build the champion you all will be tomorrow. Before I conclude, I would like to thank our principal, vice principal, management, all my wonderful teachers who have helped me, my mom, dad, and my nanny who are here in the audience. You're my biggest supporters. And thank you, this wonderful audience, for coming here and listening to my story. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Whoa, that was incredible. We promise to be mindful of what we eat, sir. A loud round of applause for Mr. Keegan. Who is the third speaker of the day, Sanvi?
Next up, we have Miss Mahi Kotaria, who is a Standard 11 student of our school. She will speak on the topic Unlocking the Secrets of Biodiversity and its Hidden Treasures. Miss Mahi has cleared the zonal level synergy competition of MISA, members of International Schools Association. She has cleared the level 2 round of the National Astronomy and Science Olympiad. She has been awarded a certificate with special mention for displaying exemplary skills of research, leadership, and diplomacy at BCG MUN 2022. She has also played the role of chairperson in the executive board for Interhouse MUN conducted in her school for the year 2023-24. With that said, we welcome Ms. Mahi to come on stage.
A very good evening to one and all present here. Before I start, I would like to take a moment to thank my school and TEDx youth at CNMS for giving me the opportunity to vocalize my thoughts on this platform. It is with profound privilege that I speak here today. Uniformity is not nature's way. Diversity is nature's way. Today, I, Mahi Ketan Kotaria, will be talking about nature's wealth, the biodiversity and its hidden treasures. Let me start off by telling you what biodiversity is. Now, I'm sure all of you have bought mobile phones at some point in your life. And if you have, you probably had to download a software to use that phone. And then you probably ended up downloading a myriad of useless apps. And think about it. This very purchase to begin with must have allowed a lot of other businesses to thrive, because you probably ended up buying a SIM card, a mobile cover, a screen guard, a charger, even headphones perhaps. Well, biodiversity is much like this economy when you buy a new phone. The phone itself represents a central species or element in the ecosystem. Once introduced, it creates opportunities for other businesses to thrive. Software engineers develop apps and vendors start selling mobile phones and chargers and whatnot. Similarly, in an ecosystem, the presence of one species supports the survival of many others. For reduce, let's take the example of corals. Corals provide shelter for fish, shrimps, and crabs, while these creatures in turn help keep the reef clean by eating algae which could otherwise smother it. Tiny algae called zooxanthellae live inside the coral, providing it with energy through photosynthesis. And the coral in turn offers the algae with nutrients and protection. This mutual support creates a thriving ecosystem where countless species depend on one another for survival. This demonstrates the very essence of biodiversity, the intricate woven connections of life. So, let me explain how the nature's palette works. Well, I'm not a science student, so explaining biodiversity in layman's terms required some serious thinking. And then it hit me. Since my brain's more wired for commodities and balance sheets than it is for biology, why not break it down using the one thing I really understand? Business, of course. Who knew that ecosystems and startups had so much in common? Well, except in an ecosystem, the only shareholders' meetings would be between the ants and the flowers. No, but really, try hard jokes aside, just as businesses rely on a diverse range of suppliers to ensure steady production and to minimize disruptions, an ecosystem depends on a variety of species to maintain balance and function. If one link in the chain fails, it can cause a ripple effect, impacting everything from food webs to climate regulation. In fact, did you know that the consequences of loss of biodiversity are far greater than that of climate change or pollution? Let me take a wild guess at what you're thinking right now. Why is it so important? What is the big hype around biodiversity? Allow me to take you back to a moment in my childhood. I was around 8 years old, wandering through the forest near my grandparents' house with my grandfather. That's when my grandfather stopped and knelt down beside a small, unassuming plant with purple flowers. He looked at me and said, "Mahi, this plant has cured more people than you'll ever meet in your life." I was baffled. How could something so small, something I had nearly stepped on, hold such power? That plant, I later learned, was a source to compounds used in life-saving cancer treatment. Medicines, ladies and gentlemen, over 50% of modern medicines are derived from the nature. Aspirin, it comes from the willow bark. The Madagascar periwinkle, hidden in its delicate petals, are compounds that have revolutionized the treatment of leukemia. In fact, survival rates of leukemia have boosted from a mere 10% to a whopping 90% after the discovery of these compounds. And it's not just medicine. Did you know that 1 out of every 3 bites of food that you eat depends upon pollinators like bees and butterflies, which, believe it or not, are on the verge of endangerment? Or, if these facts weren't mind-blowing enough, let's talk about the axolotl, or the Mexican walking fish. This creature isn't just cute, but it has extraordinary regenerative abilities. It is known for being able to regrow whole limbs, spinal cord, and even parts of its heart and brain. Scientists are studying these abilities in order to unlock secrets of tissue regeneration and healing in humans. These aren't just fascinating facts. They are evidence that nature's ingenuity surpasses anything we could ever invent in a lab. Say, have you heard of biomimicry? Biomimicry is the practice of looking to the nature for solutions to human problems. Let's take the example of the Swiss engineer George the Mestral. George noticed how tiny seeds stuck to his dog's fur after a walk in the woods. This made him wonder how the seeds attached themselves to the fur. He later mimicked this very design to create Velcro, an innovation which is now used in everything from shoes to spacesuits. Isn't it awe-inspiring just to be thinking about this? Nature holds a treasure trove of secrets, many of which we've barely begun to uncover. Over millions of species out there remain unknown to us. Hidden gems indeed. However, here's the heartbreaking truth. This vast treasure is slipping through our fingers. When will we realize that the real wonders of the world aren't the monuments we build, but the life forms we share this very planet with? Yet, how very often we overlook them. Today, biodiversity is in grave danger. Scientists warn that over 1 million species could go extinct within the next few decades. All because of our actions. My actions and your actions. Now, you might not believe this, but ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ear nonetheless. In 2023, approximately an area worth 10 football fields of rainforest was being destroyed every minute. This rate equates to the loss of around 3.7 million hectares of rainforest over the year. This destruction is driven by our actions, of course, be it industrial and agricultural expansion, fires, pollution, population growth, and a plethora of other reasons we could barely fathom right now. And unfortunately, this damage isn't just confined to our lands. Our oceans are suffering just as well. Here's something else that may surprise you. Over 10 million tons of plastic ends up in the ocean every year, entangling marine animals, causing poisoning, eutrophication, and even destroying our natural habitats. You know what? Let me make this simpler. Allow me to paint a picture. 10 million tons of plastic would end up in the ocean if a garbage truck full of plastic were being dumped into the ocean every minute of every day for an entire year. Shocking, unbelievable even, but it is a sad truth. We treat biodiversity like a luxury instead of the necessity that it really is. Instead, what if we treated it as an investment? Yes, you heard it correct, as an investment. What if pharmaceutical companies funded rainforest preservation because the next billion-dollar drug might as well be hidden in the depths of a forest? This brings me to the big question of the day. What can we do about this problem? Well, in my opinion, it is quite simple. The real problem lies in phrases such as save water, ban plastic, be eco-friendly. These phrases have become so pervasive in our daily lives that we often dismiss them as empty slogans, saying to ourselves, what difference could I truly make? Or why does it matter if I toss one wrapper in the ocean? It's not the end of the world. To this, I say, sure, go ahead. It's not like any of our lives depend upon biodiversity for air, food, and water. I'm sure Netflix and a good takeout order and concrete jungles and plastic oceans will sustain us just fine when our planet collapses. Look, I know it is true that individual actions may seem insignificant in the grand scheme. However, the real danger lies in collective apathy. If everyone were to adapt this mindset, it would only serve to hasten the degradation of our planet. Small individual actions may seem trivial, but their cumulative impact, their cumulative power has the their cumulative impact has the power to drive meaningful change. Always remember, small individual actions may seem trivial, but they are still a step towards securing a future rich in biodiversity of life. This brings me back to the question, what can we do? The answer is simple. We can start. Start with restoring and protecting our habitats, by building conservation centers for endangered species, by reducing waste and pollution, or by adapting 100 different ways to reduce our carbon footprint. We have the power to create a world where nature thrives and not just survives. The hidden treasures that I've spoken about today aren't buried in the Amazon or hidden under a rock. They are right here, in the soil beneath our feet, in the trees above our heads, and in the very air that we breathe. If we lose these treasures, we lose ourselves too. It's like losing pages of a book that we haven't read yet, chapters that hold answers to questions we don't yet know to ask. If we don't act now, we may never know what we've lost. So, let's not rob the future generations from getting a chance to unlock these treasures. With that, I take your leave. Thank you very much.
That was a novel way of explaining such a pertinent topic in the present scenario. Let's give it up for Miss Mahi. Now it's time for a 5-minute break. Please help yourselves to the refreshments served outside the auditorium. Our volunteers will guide you for the same. A bell will be rung at the end of 4 minutes to remind you to return. Requesting the audience to be seated. Please take your seats. We shall resume shortly.
Requesting the audience to be seated.
Welcome back. Let us hear about the next speaker.
May I introduce Mr. Raghav Agarwal, who will speak on finding beauty in imperfection, embracing self-esteem in a flawed world. Mr. Raghav Agarwal is a consultant at Bain and Company in private equity practice. He received his MBA from IIM Bangalore and a BTech in civil engineering from VJTI. He brings expertise in strategic advisory and commercial due diligence of multi-billion-dollar assets backed by a robust blend of analytical prowess, strategic decision-making, and communication skills. Sir is a J.N. Tata Endowment Scholar and an IIM Bangalore Merit Scholar. Over to you, sir.
Firstly, thank you guys for such a great introduction. I don't think even my parents speak so highly of me. Also to add, I was a student of CNMS, so I am born and raised here. So good evening all. I am Raghav Agarwal, as you already know. Standing here today, I feel like Batman returning to Gotham without my cape, without a Batmobile, without a chiseled physique, or an occasional glamorous company. To be fair, my beautiful teachers have always made me feel special. But what I bring to you is a plenty of tales from the dark night of my own journey. And while I stand here as someone supposedly called to inspire you, trust me when I say this, I am no lighthouse lighting up a clear path to success. I have my own imperfections, I have my own flaws, I have my own failures. I am still learning, and I don't know the answers. To be fair, I'm probably only half as successful as some of my peers. To sum myself up, I'm more like a Swiss Army knife, functional in a pinch, decent at a few things, but far from being the ultimate tool. I studied civil engineering at VJTI, but I couldn't get into my dream university for masters. However, somehow I ended up becoming the youngest CXO at one of India's largest quiz gaming apps. Post that, I survived the roller coaster that is IIM Bangalore and landed a job as a management strategy consultant at Bain and Company. For those who don't know, that's the most sought after roles for an MBA graduate coming out of a business school. So I kind of outpaced most of my peers. Despite that, with 14 gray hair on my head, I'm still figuring out what I want to do in my life. Your life will be completely different. Your journey will have its own quirks, its unexpected turns, and that's what will make it yours. One thing that I have learned is the importance of embracing imperfections and finding self-worth in a world that seems obsessed with looking flawless. My journey of embracing imperfections started right here in school when I signed up for debates and elocutions. My early encounters were absolutely disastrous. I fumbled, I stammered, I lost my train of thought mid-sentence. I went blank. It was like getting castled by a Jasprit Bumrah Yorker, unexpected and humbling. Well, after each failure, I went back to the drawing board. I learned, I analyzed, and I came back stronger. And I turned my failures into my strength. And look where I am today, addressing the brightest young audience in the city on one of the world's most popular public speaking platforms. How many of you have heard of Dipender Goyal? That's right, he's one of the co-founders of Zomato, one of India's largest delivery apps. Well, how many of you know that he still struggles with speech? Well, Mr. Dipender Goyal didn't let his flaws define him. It's clearly evident that your imperfections are no barrier to success. Fast forward to a few years, where I found myself as the youngest business owner and product head at, as I said, one of largest quiz gaming apps in India at Crimson Code. But here's the irony. I was a civil engineer who had a preference for outdoor sports and knew absolutely nothing about mobile games. I was probably only as creative as our civic authorities finding permanent solutions to our potholes, which is to say, not very. So you can understand my surprise when I was the youngest CXO there. Well, challenge was new. I had to learn everything on the job. I had to learn from my own mistakes. I learned on the go. And there's one thing that I learned there was that your limitations do not define you. They rather push you to expand. So from someone who still drinks Boost milk, don't knock it, it is really awesome. Trust me when I say this, your flaws, your missteps, your cracks, your mishaps, your failures, they'll add that extra flavor to your story. Fast forward to a few years, it was 2021 in IIM Bangalore, and my group and I had an 8 a.m. presentation for Mr. Vipul Parekh, one of the co-founders of Big Basket. Our job was to pitch Big Basket's potential entry into quick commerce. It was a big deal back then because Blinkit and Zepto were still scaling up. So my group and I wrapped up our presentation deck 2 a.m. the night before, but in a classic student fashion, decided to celebrate. Well, one thing led to another, and it was already 5 a.m. At 7:55 a.m., two of us bolted awake, threw on whatever we could wear, and sprinted to the presentation room, while one of us was still wearing crumpled shorts and slippers as his excuse for formals. Well, when we entered, my friend mumbled an apology to Mr. Parekh, but accidentally dropped the F-bomb. While all these shenanigans were happening, my 3 other teammates were still fast asleep in their respective rooms. Despite all the odds, we aced the presentation. This wasn't because we were meticulously prepared, clearly not. This is because we embraced the chaos and delivered it with confidence. It was more like Jake Paul beating Mike Tyson, or for F1 fans out there, more relatable, Max Verstappen winning the Brazilian GP recently concluded from P17 to P1. So one thing that I learned there was that sometimes embracing chaos is far more powerful than striving for perfection. However, my IIM story fails in comparison to the true resilience of Vinesh Fogart and Christian Eriksen. How many of you followed the Paris Olympics 2024? How many of you followed the journey of one of India's most tenacious wrestlers, Vinesh Fogart? Well, I met her at Koklabain Ambani Hospital when she was on crutches just 12 months before her Olympic bouts. Most would have given up then, but Vinesh turned her setback into an incredible comeback. Not only did she qualify for the Olympic gold medal bouts, she also went on to defeat a previously undefeated Japanese opponent, a feat that seemed unachievable until then. Then there's Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen was representing Denmark in the Euro 2020 Championships when he suffered a cardiac arrest on the football pitch. Many thought his football career was over, but Eriksen didn't let that moment define him. He made an incredible comeback to professional football and earned a spot in one of the most illustrious football clubs in the world, Manchester United. Their story is a testament to the fact that your success, your failures are temporary. Your imperfections cannot hold you down. What defines you is yourself and your willpower to succeed despite what the obstacles are. Recently, I made a trip to Canary Islands, and I was awestruck to see how Spain had transformed active volcanic islands off the coast of North Africa into one of Europe's top tourist destinations. Once seen as futile, ugly volcanic landscape, it had turned a prime spot for tourists who flocked there every year to see the very landscape that were considered flaws. So clearly, your USPs are your flaws are your USPs. Well, to wrap this up, while I'm no literature nerd, I'd like to quote one of my favorite poems, that's If by Rudyard Kipling, because that there are some lines which speak absolutely deeply to me, imperfections and rising above setbacks. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you've given your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. These lines reflect the true beauty of resilience. Kipling reminds us that success and failure are temporary. It's in our ability to handle them, not in our ability to avoid them. To wrap this up, let's take a trip down the memory lane. Those classic school moments, sprinting down the school corridors like we were participating in 100-meter dashes, or taking those occasional free kicks which sometimes found the goal, but more often than not shattered a window or two, or sneaking in snacks during classes like we were international smugglers, or last minute cramming before exams, or that one friend who always borrowed your homeworks or assignments but ended up outscoring you. Well, those moments weren't perfect, but they were ours. Life's imperfections are quite like those wild school days. Messy, chaotic, but full of surprises. These are what make your story worth telling. So here's my challenge to you. Go out there, embrace your imperfections, celebrate those quirks, and own the moments that you would otherwise shy away from. Because being different isn't being wrong. As my favorite Batman quote says, it's not who you are underneath. It is what you do that defines you. It's not the flaws you have, the doubts you have, or the imperfections you carry. It's about how you act and how you show up and make those moments truly yours. So go out there, define yourself what you can do and not by what holds you back. With this, I conclude. And if there's anyone who'd like to celebrate their perfectly imperfect journey for a cup of boost milk, you know where to find me. Thank you.
What a thought-provoking speech, sir. Flaws are not failures. They are features of uniqueness. A big round of applause for Mr. Raghav.
The next speaker of the day is Ms. Prisha Desai, our child prodigy from grade 8. She will speak on the topic Aesthetics, how industrial design influences our world. Ms. Prisha has been a participant of a historic general knowledge TV show, Kaun Banega Crorepati, hosted by the Amitabh Bachchan, and the youngest girl at the age of 10 to win 12.5 lakhs on the hot seat. India Book of Records 2022 has awarded her the title of the youngest girl to memorize and display names of countries and continents in the shortest time. World Book of Records London has awarded her the title of the youngest girl to publish a non-fiction book on feminism, My Feminist Boots. She has won the Best Author Award by Bree Books in the NYAF in 2023 in Gurgaon, and for a book writing competition organized by Nehru Science Center. She is a black belt in karate and kudo mixed martial arts and a state level swimmer. She is associated with NGOs like Goonj and Sneha Sadan for their weekend tutorship for kids, and is associated with PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. Welcome on stage, Ms. Prisha.
Thank you so much, Sanvi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Prisha Desai. Before I start, I'd like to extend my gratitude to my school principal, vice principal, and all my teachers for giving me the opportunity to speak on such a huge platform. Today, I'm going to talk about something we encounter every day, yet often don't think about. An often underrated, yet profoundly impactful field, industrial design. When we talk about aesthetics in industrial design, we are referring to much more than just how things look. We are delving into how these designs resonate with us, function in our everyday lives, and ultimately shape our world. Industrial design is all around us, influencing our decisions and experiences in subtle but powerful ways. To start with, let's understand what industrial design actually is. It's the process of designing objects that are to be mass produced considering both aesthetics and functionality. This combines art, engineering, and business with the goal of making products that are not only functional but also appealing and user friendly. Think of everything from smartphones to kitchen appliances. The best designs seamlessly integrate form and function. But why do aesthetics matter? At a basic level, good design can evoke emotions. A sleek, well-proportioned chair does more than providing comfort. It creates an inviting space, enhancing our mental well-being. On the flip side, poor design can lead to frustration, even if the product is functional. Aesthetics play a pivotal role in industrial design. The visual appeal of a product can significantly influence consumer behavior. This indicates that consumers are willing to invest in products that not only serves a purpose but also delights the senses. Let's break down how industrial design shapes our world in three main areas: everyday life, sustainability, and economic impact. Consider your morning routine. The razor you use, the coffee maker you pour from, or the toothbrush you brush with. These everyday tools are all products of thoughtful industrial design. They are designed not just for function, but also for efficiency and user experience. The way they look and feel has deliberately been designed to enhance your experience. The sleek, curved design of a sports car doesn't just look appealing. It reduces drag and increases speed, making it more efficient. Similarly, a well-designed kitchen gadget makes cooking enjoyable rather than a household chore. Think about a smartphone's touchscreen. It is designed to be as intuitive as possible, so even a child or a grandparent can use it. The human-centric design approach makes a smartphone something that feels natural to hold and use, regardless of who you are. Moreover, think of the impact of design on accessibility. The rise of inclusive design shows us that when products are crafted, keeping all users in mind, whether young or old, able-bodied or disabled, we create a more equitable society. Take the accessibility features in smartphones, for example. Larger text options, voice commands, screen readers. These improve the usability of technology for everyone. As we delve deeper into the 21st century, another crucial aspect of industrial design is sustainability. Consumers today are more environmentally conscious than ever before. This is leading to innovative design that not only satisfy our aesthetic urges, but also reflect a commitment to the planet. For instance, a very popular American multinational automotive and clean energy company has revolutionized the automotive industry with their chic electric vehicles, promoting sustainability while appealing to consumers' desire for luxury and performance. They are using designs not just to sell cars, but to encourage a shift towards cleaner energy. Even simple things like reusable water bottles have been designed to look attractive so that more people are encouraged to use them instead of plastic water bottles. Another example is a car from a very popular Indian conglomerate, often called as the world's cheapest car. The car was designed to be affordable for middle class Indian families, but it had an important sustainability goal: reducing emissions and fuel consumption. The car used lighter materials, a smaller engine, and a simplified manufacturing process, all of which contributed to making the car more fuel efficient and less polluting. While the car did not achieve long-term success in the market, it showed us how industrial design can help meet social needs. In this case, the need for affordable transportation while considering the environmental impact. In India, where air pollution is a serious concern, designing cars that are fuel efficient and less polluting is crucial for the future. Did you know good design can be a game changer for a company? Consumers are willing to pay a premium for brands focusing on industrial design. Their design philosophy, simplicity, elegance, and user friendliness has given them an enormous edge. An example is of another very famous Indian automobile company which has been at the forefront of automotive design in India. Their focus on creating ergonomically designed tractors and vehicles not only enhances user comfort but also boosts productivity for farmers. By prioritizing user-centric design in a traditionally utilitarian market, they have positioned themselves as a leader in agriculture innovation. This focus on industrial design translates into economic success, driving growth in the agriculture sector. Here's an example of how aesthetics in industrial design has personally benefited me. For my recent trip to Spain, I upgraded from an old creaky luggage bag to a modern lightweight suitcase. The new bag had smooth wheels, a sturdy handle, and a stylish design, which made traveling effortless and enjoyable. Its organized compartments kept everything tidy, unlike my old bag's clutter. Its sleek look and practicality added both comfort and ease to my journey. This upgrade made traveling a far better experience. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a beautiful example of how aesthetics in industrial design personally influences us. However, industrial design isn't without its challenges. Balancing aesthetics, functionality, and sustainability is no small feat. Designers have to think about how products impact society as a whole. The future is exciting though, with advancements like 3D printing and augmented reality, poised to revolutionize how we create and use products. In conclusion, industrial design is far more than just making things look good. It's a powerful force in shaping not only products, but our experiences and the world at large. It's about improving our quality of life, driving economic success, and even helping save our planet. The next time you pick up your smartphone or drive a car, take a moment to appreciate the design choices that went behind making it. Remember, we are living in a world shaped and continuously reshaped by industrial design. I hope this insight into the world of industrial design encourages you to look at the objects you interact with daily with fresh eyes. Thank you for your time and thank you for being such a great audience.
That speech was brimming with talent. We often tend to overlook just the amount of thought that goes into creating a simple design. A loud round of applause for Miss Prisha.
The last but not the least speaker of the day is Miss Sanika Manchanda. She will be addressing us on the topic Music and Memory, shaping our life stories through melodies. With a passion for piano, she has achieved the Trinity Practical Grade 3 and Trinity Practical Grade 2 theory. Miss Sanika participated in the Harvard Model Congress, a leadership workshop by Harvard in 2024. She was an MUN chairperson for ICC committee and head of delegate affairs. She has also won the bronze in Commonwealth essay for her excellence in creative writing. Over to you, Ms. Sanika.
Good evening to one and all present here. First, I would like to thank my principal, my vice principal, and my teachers for this opportunity today. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, lost in your own thought, when suddenly, boom, that song comes on. You know the one that takes you back to when life seemed simpler, or maybe just more complicated in a different way. Suddenly, you're 10 again, and everything feels like it could be the start to an epic story. Why does music do that to us? Why does a single song have the power to unlock a floodgate of memories, emotions, and sometimes questionable fashion choices from our past? Our brain has a lot of different parts. Some of them are good at remembering facts. Some of them are good at recognizing faces. And some of them are really, really good at forgetting things, like why we walked into the kitchen. Sorry. But when it comes to music, our brain uses multiple areas, especially the hippocampus, the part of our brain responsible for emotions, and the key part, the amygdala, the part of our brain responsible for emotions. The part of our brain that interacts with music is very close to the part that stores memories. So when you hear a song that reminds you of a specific time in your life, it's not just a random tune. It's an emotional cue. That's why a song can make you feel like you're reliving an entire moment, down to the way your palms were sweaty, to how exciting a particular moment was. Let's put this to the test by an exercise. I'm going to play a song for you, and the only thing you have to do is close your eyes and listen carefully. Can we have the audio, please? Sorry, just give us a minute. Okay, we'll come back to this. Every song you listen to has a memory attached to it. It could be a different memory for everyone. Take the intro song of Friends, I'll Be There For You, for example. Every time that song comes on, we're all reminded of all the characters and perhaps their chaotic dancing to it. It could even be an emotion for a person who's watched Friends a gazillion times, like me. Whenever I listen to We Will Rock You, you know the one that goes, actually, why don't all of us do it together? It's very simple. I'm going to teach you. So you pat your thighs twice and you clap once, okay? And I'm a bathroom singer, so can everyone please join me when I'm singing? Thank you so much. Okay, let's go. We will rock you. We will rock you. That was awesome. Thank you so much. Can we have the audio now, please? anyone guess which song this was? No, not James Bond. Yes, that's right, Mission Impossible. Now, who doesn't know this movie? And maybe some of you don't, that's completely fine. Nothing against you. So, whenever we listen to this song, we're probably taken back to the first time you watched Mission Impossible. Perhaps you can see the handsome Tom Cruise flash through your mind. Those of us who haven't watched Mission Impossible know it's something related to a thriller scene, like James Bond, like you said. Because that's the memory associated with this kind of music. As for me, I remember my mass media project that I did on Mission Impossible. My group and I had tried to reenact one of the scenes. We can't top Tom Cruise, so we failed miserably. Indian lullabies, or loris, are more than just a song for all of us. They're a mother's love, a child's first memory, and a promise whispered to the stars. Every note of a lori carries on the gentle touch of a mother. It's not just a song, it's a heartbeat. A moment where time slows and the world fades away, leaving only the bond between a mother and her child. Music has a bigger impact on us than you think. It can be an emotional roller coaster. Ever heard of a song that made you cry and you're not sure why? There's no real reason for your tears. That's the magic of music. It can make you feel deeply. A minor key can make you nostalgic. A major key can lift your spirits. And a well-distanced drum beat can make you start dancing instantly. So, music bypasses logic entirely. It goes straight to the heart. We may not remember every word, every note, every chord, or even the melody itself, but we remember how it made us feel, how it carried us through moments of joy, of heartbreak, of uncertainty, and of growth. Music can make you travel through time through the help of tunes. It could be down the old passageways of life or a dream far, far away. It turns out music isn't just something you listen to on a daily basis. It's something that helps you make new memories and helps you remember old ones. Music therapy is used for patients with dementia or memory loss. In these cases, music can help them remember old stories of their lives through the power of music. It's like the brain's very own reset button, bringing people back to the person they were through the magic of music. Music is a powerful tool not only for dementia patients, but for every human being. Ever heard of the Mozart effect? It's the theory that classical music, especially Mozart's music, can increase your brain's ability to learn and focus. According to Dr. Gordon Shaw, it can even increase your IQ by up to 9 points. Now, I'm not saying classical music makes you a genius, or that if you listen to classical music, your brain will suddenly remember everything at the speed that Usain Bolt runs. But it's fascinating how our brain connects to music. I have been playing the piano for 5 years now. I started playing the piano for the same reason that I did most things at that age, because of my elder sister. In the beginning, I didn't love it. But because of my awesome teacher, it's my favorite hobby now. Music has a unique way to captivate us, slowly weaving itself into the fabrics of our lives, turning fleeting moments into lasting memories. It has the power to touch our hearts and lives. As a pianist, I realized that every note, every chord holds an emotion. For me, It was the act of playing that helped me find new parts of myself, pushing through moments of frustration, celebrating the small victories of life, and experiencing the joy and beauty of creating something beautiful from nothing but a few notes on a page. And I think that's what draws so many of us to music in the first place. Its power to transform, to heal, and to remind us of the beauty and complexity of life. Music has a universal language, connecting people all across the globe. I once saw a reel of two people starting to dance on Macarena. You know the step. Can we do it together? Let's do it together. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you sway. Okay? So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Awesome. That's so nice. I have such a good audience. Thank you so much. Okay. So I saw a reel of two people starting to dance on Macarena, and more than 100 people joined them. It was such a wholesome moment, and all of them created a memory that would last them an eternity. So you can say, music and memory aren't just intertwined, they are inseparable. Music doesn't just fill silences, it gives it meaning. It slowly weaves itself into the fabrics of our lives, turning fleeting moments into lasting memories. It's the soundtrack of our journeys, the highs, the lows, the transitions. And with every song we hear, we are reminded that we're never truly alone in our experiences. It's a feeling, a memory, a moment you didn't even know you were holding on to. So, what does all of this mean for us? It means that music isn't just something you listen to on a daily basis, it's something that becomes you. Every song you hear, every melody you remember, and every lyric you sing is a part of the soundtrack of your life. So, the next time you hear a song that reminds you of a specific time in your life, makes you smile, cringe, or get emotional for no good reason, remember, it's not just a song. It's a snapshot of who you are, where you've been, and maybe even who you're becoming. Thank you.
What an incredible speech that was. Music does shape our memory in several ways. A huge round of applause for Miss Sanika. We now request all our esteemed speakers to come up on the stage, requesting our principal, vice principal, Alka ma'am and Asha ma'am to felicitate our speakers for the day. Ms. Rachna Verma, Mr. Keegan Menezes, Ms. Mahi Kotadia, Mr. Raghav Agarwal, Ms. Prisha Desai, and Ms. Sanika Manchanda. We also request our ISE student Sanvi Kulkarni, the student licensee of our TEDx event, to come on stage.
Audience, keep clapping. Sanvi is our student licensee for the TEDx event. Let's give it up for her. Once more, let's give it up for these speakers. Thank you. Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to thank the management of CNM School, our principal, vice principal, speakers, CNM admin staff, NMIMS admin staff, teachers, and the ISC students for their valuable contribution in making TEDx Youth at CNMS 2024 a grand success. A heartfelt gratitude to all the guest teachers and students for spending your precious time with us. We hope this was a learning experience for all of you and that you leave more enlightened than before. A gentle reminder to fill up the feedback forms and submit them to our student volunteers. And for future updates, please follow us on our Instagram page, TEDx Youth at CNMS. On this note, I, Sanvi Chogle,
And I, Rishil Guradia,
take your leave, hoping that we shall meet someday, somewhere, in an event like this. Till then, wishing you a great evening ahead. God bless and goodbye. Please stand at attention for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय है भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय है भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you very much.